any of you are interested in becoming a creator yourself, or you're just like curious how small creators keep going, like the motivation.
We're just gonna be honest about our journey. It is most definitely 10 times more work than you think it is.
And the content was starting to lag.
To get right.
So overall, like I feel a lot more proud of like what we're doing. Growth is not quick.
I think we were a little bit delusional about like maybe when we would make money on top of an episode, an Instagram post, and like it was
too much.
Bitch, what I was trying to say is this situation got me so wet and so dry at the same time. Exactly.
Hey guys, I'm Fiji, like the island like the water, and I work in social media and marketing.
My name is Autumn, like the season, and I work in entertainment. If you guys are new here, we do have a podcast / YouTube channel, video essay adjacent situation going on. We basically explore duality through deep diving topics about sex, relationships, and personal identity. And it's all where internet trends and reality collide.
Yes, and this is outside of our regular content. Usually if you guys look at our channel, you'll see we are remote. Autumn lives in LA, I live in Atlanta, but she is visiting from LA so we could go to Revolt World. So we thought we would sit down after being creators for about 2 years, year and a half.
Yeah.
We've been releasing stuff for a year and a half, creators for longer than that, and we just wanted to talk to you guys, whether you're loyal listeners or you're just finding us for the first time, about what we've learned. Because being at Revolt World, we learned from other creators, we heard from other people, and we just find like this type of advice really helpful.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna be honest about our journey.
So the first thing that we've learned from being creators for 2 years is to stop overthinking and just start. Honestly, are we the most proud of our first pieces of content we created? No, not at all. But without that, we would have never been where we are now. It's not something that's super natural for everyone to talk like with a mic and a camera. Like it does take time getting used to it. Even if you are stars like Fiji and I, it's hard, you know what I mean? And it takes some time getting used to, and we've wanted to start something for way longer than 2 years. And granted, I don't think we were ready, but in hindsight, maybe we could have started something sooner and been farther along in our journey by now. But that's definitely the first thing, is like, don't overthink, don't be scared. Like it definitely is scary. The internet is scary, but I think there is comfort in at least knowing that a lot of people are doing this now. It's not like super unheard of. And so I think I found comfort in that, but definitely just start. Just do it.
Yeah.
Do the thing.
It's super easy to like get in your head and be insecure and be like afraid to talk like normal, what people are gonna think. But once you stop being in your head and you literally just make the fucking piece of content, like just put it out there. Even if it's not perfect, you can always archive it later. You can always switch up and go in another direction. Since doing this, we have changed the type of content that we create, like a lot. Our template was always the same. We did a rebrand design-wise, but as far as like the content, like the episode topics, when we started, a lot of people always tell us, you know, oh, I want to start a podcast, and I ask them like, oh, what are you going to talk about? And they say, oh, like we're just gonna talk, like me and my best friend have good conversations. And that's like great. That's a great like starting point. That's what we did.
That's what we thought. We were like, yeah, we have good conversations.
We have a lot to say. Like we're just gonna go. We have interesting perspectives. But we quickly learned after doing content that it wasn't enough, and we weren't getting enough out of it just based off our experiences and picking a topic out of the air. So we slowly started to incorporate outlines, and that brought us into research, and that brought us into thinking more complexly about the topics that we were covering. And we rewrote the description for our episodes.
She, that's all her. But the description is really hard, and it was really hard for us to put into sentences what we want to do. Because the truth is, we do have so many different interests, and like at the end of the day, it is all about duality. But it was hard for us to really figure that out. And it's like, just be okay with your content evolving, because it's probably going to. And like, that's okay. If you lose some people along the way, you'll gain some people when you find your right audience. It is gonna take time. We realized like if we don't really know what we're doing, or we don't know what to say when someone asks, what is your podcast about? That's a problem. And so how can we expect people to know what we are and like get consistently from our content, like we need to figure that out.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing. And so be okay with your content changing and evolving. And yeah, the last thing is just like we weren't being stimulated intellectually. There was no longevity there for us. Like we had to find more passion because at the end of the day, yes, we're passionate about talking and all of that, but it's like we needed like fact. We wanted to feel more confident. Having research and like that is a game changer for us, but like maybe you don't want to go in the intellectual direction, and that's okay. You can, obviously a lot of podcasts are just talking, but it's like whatever you do, make sure you're gonna be able to do it for a while and you really like it, and be okay with it changing. It's not always gonna be the same. It has to change.
Yeah, and it's a balance though too, because I will definitely say I'm probably more of like the overthinker, the one that wants to have the perfect fucking thing. And Autumn has been really helpful in being like, no, let's just do it. Because I would get in my head and be like, oh, we have to have this be perfect, or we have to have this all together, like all of that stuff. And it's like, it's a healthy balance between putting shit out there and figuring out along the way and changing and constantly checking in, and like, you know, it's constantly ever evolving, ever changing. So the next thing is that it is most definitely 10 times more work than you think it is. Especially in today's society with so many fucking platforms. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Music. All of those are grouped together in terms of like being pushed out to the same platform. But you still have to kind of think about each platform like maybe a little bit differently. And then you have to make thumbnails for YouTube. We make memes for our social posts. We post the thumbnails. We used to do clips. It's like all of that marketing that goes around if you do have a podcast or if you do have a YouTube channel, showing up on those other platforms. And then episode outlines, recording days, getting ready, researching.
Thinking of the topics in general.
Like it's definitely most definitely a part-time job.
And having so much storage space as well. It's like we record on our phones, on our computers. I don't have, you know, like the highest gigabyte plan. Like you have to delete shit. It's a lot, you know, and it's every week. We don't stop. We never stop. It's like once we finish an episode that feels like a mini project. The next one, it's like, okay, we have to, and we post polls as well. We think of community questions to not only like support, but like also to hear the reality piece with the internet piece together. But yeah, it's so much more work than you think it is. And I think a lot of people do say that, but like there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just editing and like producing the content, it's the marketing piece. And it's like, we don't have anyone else.
It's
like
just us.
We've hired a freelance graphic designer for 2 projects, maybe 3, and then a music producer for 1 project. She killed it, and then we never needed anything again. So that, like, we do everything.
And then an audio engineer, one time, because we did in-person episodes, the audio was terrible, so we like paid someone for like 10 episodes
to help it.
And we want a team. We want to eventually grow. We see the areas in which like we need another person. But that's definitely the other thing, like pace yourself. I think when we started, like I remember when we went to LA, me and Autumn tried to do so much content, and I was like crazy, like, no, we need to do more, because you're constantly hearing, and I work in marketing,
and we like cried, like we were like,
we got in a big fight, like
it was bad.
It was bad because like we work differently too, so like we're best friends also, so like if you're doing it with someone else, I think it is important to have a friendship and also talk about the ways that you guys work.
And I think what we have is rare. I think and like obviously we still have a long way to go, like, but I don't think I could do this with any other friend that I've ever had, because it's like we just like respect each other at the end of the day. We'll have some disagreements, but like so little. So like it really
we've
never
gotten
happens.
into one fight and like one like argument discussion,
where we
but
were,
it
like,
was more working
heated
through it
and like crying.
Yeah, but definitely I think I would always be like super hard on myself in terms of like we need to be doing more, we're not doing enough, like I want to be successful, I want this thing to happen. And the reality is like your mental health is important, and we also both work full-time jobs on top of this and want to have a social life because we're in our 20s. And it's like you can't do it all, you're gonna have to drop things. Like I would suggest starting with YouTube and TikTok, or like YouTube and Instagram. Pace yourself.
Like we shouldn't have done everything at once, and like we've let our TikTok go like completely because we just like don't, and we've been planning, like we strategize. We're gonna bring the TikTok back for sure, because it's like you have to be on that platform. But it was just, it got too much, and like I was proud of us for just being like at peace with that. Because that was a lot. I can't even imagine if we were still doing
No,
that.
it was, and then I think we pulled back too and we were like, okay, like the podcast is really the heart of our content. Like it's what we do. Everything else was promotion, and we were almost focusing too much on promotion and social media and all the other stuff.
And the content was starting to lag.
Get worse. So
right.
once we pulled back and we focused on the quality of our actual episodes,
which is
strategic.
most important. And now it's like we've done some episodes recently that we're really proud of, and still some that we don't even like anymore. Like, I'm not gonna name them. But like overall, I feel a lot more proud of what we're doing. And also, we were looking today, our episodes used to be an hour and 30 minutes. Now they're like 2 hours and like 55 minutes.
Yeah.
So you can tell that when we readjusted, we really did, because we went in and like we got more into nuance, covering all angles, and now it's like maybe a little too much, but we're working on it. Like, so it's a lot. It's a lot. All that to say, it's fucking hard work.
Yeah. The next thing is that not all of your friends or the people close to you or around you are really gonna like support you and believe in you or listen to your content. And honestly, sometimes it's like cool and a relief, because I would have a big fear about being myself and like taking this seriously. Is it cringe? Like, are they gonna look at you weird? Like those types of things.
Yeah.
But it also is a little bit discouraging sometimes, like when you do start something and you're putting so much time into it, your friends know what you do, but they still have never taken the time to listen to an episode or reshare a post or anything like that. The way that I look at it is like, I get along with these friends for like different reasons. Like we like to go out and drink, we like to go to the pool, we like to do certain other stuff, but just because I'm super obsessed with sex, relationships, personal identity, and the internet, and so is Autumn, not everyone is into that, and that is okay. Just like some of my friends make music, I love them, I support them, I'll go to their shows, but I don't listen to pop music as much or something like that, you know? That's just real life.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think I hear a lot of creators be like, oh, the people around you don't really fuck with you and like that. And I think it is important to pay attention to that too, of who's jealous of you or who's like not believing in you, like being like a energy leech vampire.
Yeah.
But also give them grace, because if they're not creators, they're not gonna understand. Just find creators that like you can relate to.
Yeah, and I feel like for me it is a lot of times like, oh, it's cringe, because I feel like I've worked in the entertainment industry where I was talking to the podcasters and the social media influencers, and not like we would make fun of them, but it was just kind of like, oh, there's another one.
Right.
You know what I mean? There is that. But I just think now that we've really transformed, I don't feel that way anymore, because I'm just like, no, like what we do is actually cool. And like, if you don't watch, you're not gonna know that. You are just gonna think I have a podcast with like my hot best friend and we kiki and drink, you know, but that's not it. We do that, and we fucking deep dive the fucking flapper era type shit. Like,
we bring in history and academic essays. They're just being themselves, and you've probably done it to other people too.
Yeah.
We're all just doing our fucking best. We can't know everything about everything our friends are doing. Like, you know?
Yeah. And I will say, I have a really good friend that really does support, so this is not about you, babe. Love you.
Yeah, and I do as well. Like, if you are the friends that listen, you know who you are. It's no shade. It's just stuff that we've learned.
And it's like good for people to know that moving forward, that is a thing.
Be prepared.
And it's like, we have each other.
That helps tremendously.
Tremendously. So the next thing we've learned as small creators is growth is not quick. Yes, it does happen to some people, but 9 times out of 10, they had been doing things for longer than anyone knew.
Yeah.
And they had been working up to that point. And yes, sometimes people do go viral overnight, and they can do that. But with the amount of people that have YouTube channels, podcasts, it's really hard. We've definitely had a bunch of small successes, but like, we don't have the high growth. We're not at that point where we could even charge money for things. We're small, but we do have people that have seen us and validated that they feel similar ways or they like our content. Right now, that's enough. So it's like, you have that, but at the end of the day, we do look at our numbers and we get upset. We do see our views and we get upset, and it's not easy. The fact that we've kept going through that does mean that like, maybe this is right for us, because it can be so discouraging. I've never really thought like, oh yeah, we're gonna quit, you know? Like, that's never really a thing. But it does get to the point where you're like, I don't feel like doing anything right now. Like, it's just like, what's the fucking point? They do reward consistency, and like, you know, you just have to keep going. And at the end of the day, once you do get the followers, you'll have so much content for them to watch.
Yeah, because those weeks where we have episodes that do like badly, and not even badly, because sometimes it was a great episode that we really believed in, and then it hurts us even more because no one's seeing it, and the algorithm just isn't pushing it out. You don't have control over it, like it is what it is, but definitely celebrate the wins that you do have and really soak them in, and also be proud of yourself for like growing along the way. We started tracking metrics, I think like January of this year, and that was really helpful too. I mean, because it does hurt when you look at your numbers and they're not as good as the week before, the month before, whatever, but it also does feel good when things jumped quite a bit, and then you can celebrate that. The visibility of being able to track your numbers, I think, is really important, because it also like gave us ideas about like how to move things up and like topics to do.
It's only up from here.
Yes.
Like, we can't possibly go down.
And honestly, thank God we didn't blow up for what we were doing, because we didn't know ourselves. We didn't know our content. We were not ready. And I think the universe will reward us like when we are ready. The small community that we have built so far and that we continue to build, every message that we get from them, like comment, like Instagram DM, like all of those mean like so much. Focus on the reward of that and like building the community. Keep your heart in it, and it helps so much.
Like, that is impactful. At the end of the day, you can have 1 million subscribers, but do any of them really fuck with you? You know, it's like, to me, a DM where someone's like saying how raw and honest we are, how they appreciate that means everything.
And giving feedback too, like, oh, I want to see this topic. That sort of engagement, I'm like, oh, they're really into it, you know?
And they want to come back. Like,
not just empty views. But yeah, kind of going off of metrics too, talking about money and like brand deals and all of that. I think we were a little bit delusional about like maybe when we would make money. Like, we thought it would definitely come quicker, like growth and all of that. Like, it was not at all that. We had a brand deal about a year ago that was a good brand. We loved working with them. We got a decent amount of money from them, and and honestly, guys, we were kind of surprised, like especially looking back at like what our content was.
I'm shocked.
That was also huge in making us believe that we can do this, and a brand saw value in us.
Right.
And it was a brand that aligned and it worked well together, and then they didn't want to work with us after that. It was just a one-time thing, but it was still good. And since then, we've promoted stuff that was like unpaid, but we got free products, which we don't want to like continue to do too much, because like you need to know when to say no to things.
Yeah.
You know, we've been starved for opportunity too, that we were kind of like, it's a
good practice as well. Like, honestly, we're gonna do the episode anyway. It's like, might as well practice a host. What's it called?
A host read ad.
Yeah, like whatever. That. Like, we need to practice that. Fuck it. We're gonna be sitting there for 4 hours anyways. Like, might as well read a quick ad and get, you know, a product. Like, it was a good product. So.
Yeah, it was a good product. Yeah, and we're close to monetizing on YouTube. We've already reached the watch time goal. We just haven't hit subscribers. So like, it's in the future. We see it. Yeah. And we have a better idea of how to work with brands now that we have in the past. We also tried to do like creator spotlights where we involve the community and like only charge them a small fee to promote them. But other than that, guys, it has definitely been like, it's lost us money. Like, we are investing our own money. And like, I think in the beginning, I mean, I had a better financial situation. Like, I had another job as well. And like, I was down to throw money at an AI tool to cut the video clips or whatever. I was down to throw money at this. And now we're a little bit more broke than we were. And it's harder for sure. And then lastly, as far as the tools that we use to create our content, right now we are filming on a Sony ZV-1 camera. We rarely use this, only really when we're vlogging, and like way back when we first started recording episodes in person.
Shout out the Halloween vlog.
Oh my God, please don't watch that. We need to archive shit. So we use that. We also have like little mics that we would use for like street interviews. They were really cheap off Amazon, like $30. Yeah. We have, when we're recording remotely, we use like, you know, a phone, what is it? The tripod?
She uses a tripod, and I have like a ring light that has a tripod in it. I got like the really big ring light, like the good ring light with the different settings. So like, that was something for sure. And then we have our mics, obviously.
Yeah, which aren't great. We need new ones. But like, you could get a mic for like $60 off Amazon. It's fine to start.
But our audio's definitely gotten better, because we used to get so many comments about it, low key, and like, those have kind of gone away.
Because we're not like, guys, like, we are not editors. Like, I had never edited video, audio, nothing like that until we started. And I started using Premiere, which is pretty much like just basic cut move. Like, we match up our audio to our FaceTime videos because FaceTime doesn't record audio. So like that is a whole thing.
Yeah.
Our template was made with
After Effects.
Yeah, Adobe After Effects, and then we export it in Adobe Media Encoder. So it's like this super extra process.
Yeah.
But like, we don't do a ton of extra editing other than like cut, slice, replace. Kind of stuff. We're not adding words.
We don't have time.
We don't have time. I mean, we don't know how.
Right. We don't know how, and it's also like we don't cut our likes and our ums. Like sometimes we do, but we would be sitting there for way longer, and we're also on different time zones.
Yeah.
Like it's really hard. Like it's either she's going late as fuck, or I have to wake up hella early, and either way I'm pissed.
Yeah.
Like I don't. So it's really hard, but we also use Canva, so that's a little expense. We had to pay for like extra Google storage drive.
Hard drives too, because when you're working with a lot of
Yeah.
video footage, and also you're gonna run into issues with your Mac. If you use Premiere, clear your caches 100%. Get rid of old files because it will eat up space super quickly. We've lost episodes before. We've had technical difficulties. You're gonna run into that. Like,
Yeah, it's so
we've
hard.
cried about it. It is what it is. And then when we did TikTok, we used CapCut. We also did
But we
try.
didn't pay for that.
We didn't pay for that. We tried multiple different AI tools. We would put the episode into this AI tool and it would cut clips and then we would edit them.
Yeah.
It just because I don't know.
It was better when it's like we started where we would be watching the episode, pick the clips we wanted, write down the timestamps, and she would go and cut every single clip, upload it into the drive. I would download everything from the drive, put it into CapCut, edit it, slap an outro at the end.
And then we would do like 4 of those on top of an episode, an Instagram post, and like it was
too much. So then we were like, okay, let's go for the AI tools, but the AIs would choose trash clips and it would look crazy, like colors, like it was bizarre. So then we were like, well, fuck it. Like,
and they weren't getting enough engagement anyway, because then
what's the point?
We switched their content to be more long form, like we're building on things. It was less clippy.
Yeah.
So it did not work, and we were kind of like, whatever. But we do pay for Adobe still, which we got it down to a discount for $40 a month. So that has like all of Adobe Creative Suite.
Yeah. And Canva's only like $15 a month.
Yeah.
And it's so worth it. It's so worth
Canva's
it.
great. Adobe Canva, Google Storage.
And Google Storage, which is like 10.
Yeah.
We did like the lower one, because we could also delete shit, honestly,
Yeah.
but...
And then marketing, we've got t-shirts made, we got business cards made, flyers are insane.
Yeah, those are expensive, so we did not do that this trip.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope that provided some insight if any of you are interested in becoming a creator yourself, or you're just like curious, like, how small creators keep going, like the motivation, like I don't fucking know, like whatever. Oh, let me stop swearing. Okay. But hope you liked this. Hope you got something from it. If you haven't listened to our podcast / YouTube videos, video essays, make sure you go do so. Again, we explore duality through deep diving all sorts of topics, always pertaining to sex, relationships, or personal identities, all where internet trends and the reality collide. So let us know what you thought of this video in the comments below. Definitely do not forget to subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and it would mean so much to us if you could subscribe and go to our Spotify and follow. You can also rate us on Amazon or Apple. Give us a star rating, written review, whatever you're feeling. And yeah, we will catch you guys in the next episode. Bye!
There's no such thing as a sugar daddy without the sugar.
This is very true, but what I will say, there are 2 types of women who are sometimes able to get away with having a sugar daddy without giving any sugar. And this is just something that I've noticed over the years. They are either 1, drop dead gorgeous, like on a scale of 1 to 10 in society standards, they would be an 11. Or number 2, which I think is more important, is they are master manipulators. Their understanding of human psychology goes way past like the average person's knowledge. Some of them are like borderline sociopaths in my opinion. But yeah. And I'll actually throw in a third situation is sometimes people have sugar daddies that they used to give sugar to, but over the years they've developed a friendship and maybe the physical part of their relationship has ended, but that person still financially takes care of them. So yeah, if you don't have one of those 2 traits or both, or the third situation going on, you're going to have a very hard time getting away with something like that.